Okay, let's get back to business. Get serious today. Caramel corn, sis, really? Are you sure we're related? Okay, so a couple questions from a couple days ago. One was about sleep, which I mentioned is super important for your health, for weight loss, um, just for the body in general, for balance, for recovery, for it doesn't matter if you're an athlete, weekend warrior, or just somebody interested in your health. Sleep is super, super important. Most people don't sleep enough, and hence the reason I wear sleep trackers, two of them as a matter of fact, because it's that important to me. I want to make sure I'm getting enough sleep every night. And just because you fall asleep and you're in bed for 8 hours does not mean you're getting good sleep. You really need to track things if you're serious about your health. The other question was bread. It doesn't come in a box, but it still comes in a package. Still a refined carbohydrate. It still raises your insulin, which means it's not on the nice list. It's on the naughty list. It comes down to what you want. It's really a simple question you have to ask is, what do I want and what am I willing to pay for it? Because there's a price for everything. You don't walk into a store and just walk out with stuff. You pay for it. Same with your health, same with your body, same with your performance. There's always a price to pay. So we'll talk a little bit about sleep first. And it really comes down to what happens when you sleep. So if you're working out really hard, and you're an athlete, and you have a really hard day's workout, you don't get the benefits from the workout. You get the benefits from the recovery from your sleep. So there are 4 stages of sleep: light sleep, well, awake, light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. The only 2 that count are deep and REM. So if you're in light sleep for 7 hours a night, studies have shown, and here is one of the books that is like the expert on sleep. These are my reference. I went back to it. I read it not too long ago. And these are serious people. These are not like some fitness blog you look about. You see on the internet. These are some serious Harvard educated MDs and PhDs that know what they're talking about. And they've done the research. Anybody knows about meta research? Meta research is when they take research and like a whole bunch of different research papers, and they compare them. Well, what I do is I take the people who compare them all and I compare them to each other. A lot of these things tie into one another. So whether it's performance, whether it's weight loss, whether it's just wanting to feel good, the body is not separate systems. It's one system that works together. It wants to stay in balance, and sleep is what holds all that together. So you really need to get deep sleep is what helps you recover from any physical activity. So you lift weights, you go for a run, like whatever it is physically, and you want to get recovery and get the most benefit from that, you need to get into deep sleep. And I think I mentioned the other day, you got to get pretty close to 2 hours in order to recoup from, depending on how hard your workouts are. And if you want to get more deep sleep, you have to exercise. So see how the balance works? It's catch-22. It's hard to get into deep sleep if you don't move the body because it's repairing. That's where you release all your growth hormone, which is the strongest body building, muscle building, and fat burning hormone in the body. The other part is REM sleep, which again I don't get as much because I'm not that smart. REM sleep helps you to retain memories. My memory's terrible, and my REM sleep's not that good. And there's ways to improve that by not being on your screens too late at night, by not eating too late at night, by keeping your room cold, by keeping it dark. There's a whole bunch of different things that help your REM sleep. And again, REM sleep helps you to help you remember things, put those short-term memories into long-term as you sleep. So you need them both. If you're doing something as an athlete, technical, you're doing something like you're working on skills all day long, if you're not getting REM sleep, you're not going to remember those things. Your body's not going to be able to do them as efficiently as somebody who gets a lot of REM sleep. So those are the 2 most important parts of the 4 cycles of sleep. Again, it's very important for weight loss. That's when you release most or make most of your leptin, which is a satiety hormone. So if you're not sleeping well and you're not making leptin, guess why you're hungry all the time? Exactly. So all these things are super important, but one builds on the other. You can't have one without the other. You need them all. So sleep, when people come to me, like they say, what's the most important thing? Is it exercise? Is it food? No, it's sleep. Sleep is the most important thing. Then you can build, sleep is like the foundation. Then you can build on top of that. So make sure you get enough sleep. Why We Sleep is the name of the book by Matthew Walker, PhD, if anybody's interested in reading it. One of the purposes of this whole series that I'm doing here is to do all the research for you so you don't have to spend tens of thousands of hours going through all this stuff. I just like it. The other thing we want to talk about, again, and this is going to be the foundation to, again, health, performance, fitness, weight loss, body composition, all this stuff, is your, not just your glycemic index. Everybody looks at the glycemic index, and if you look at breads and all these things, as soon as your insulin goes up, you're locking in fat, but you're also making yourself unhealthier and closer to being actually type 2 diabetic. And that's why all these little meals throughout the day are the worst thing you can do. What happens, you can shorten your window of eating, and that's why I say it doesn't matter, you know, I don't eat breakfast, but you can eat breakfast and just stop eating earlier. You shouldn't be eating for more than 6 to 8 hours a day. You're sleeping for almost 8, well, you should be anyway. So to go another 4 hours or 6 hours shouldn't be a huge issue. The reason you're craving food and craving sugars is because you're eating too much, your insulin goes up all the time, it crashes, and as soon as it crashes, you can't fight it. You can fight it for 6 months, you can fight it for 3 months, whatever the program is, but eventually you're going to go back to putting on weight and getting unhealthier. So it's really important that you look at these foods that are raising your insulin, and everything makes your insulin rise except for fats. And now people go on these ketogenic diets, which are healthy, except they do it wrong. Like ketogenic, you could be eating bacon and I don't know, all these fatty foods, but they're not healthy. I mean, there are healthy fats. Nuts and seeds are healthy fats, most of them, not all of them. Avocados, fatty fish, things like that are healthy fats. And they actually, you lose weight on them. You don't gain weight. People think, oh, I'm eating fat, I'm going to get fat. No, it's the refined carbs, it's the sugars. When the insulin goes up, even protein makes insulin go up, depending on your state of health. The more carbs and refined foods you eat, the higher your insulin goes up when you eat protein. A lot of people don't know that. But if you're in a ketonic state, or you're in a ketogenic diet, you're eating healthy fats, and then you add in some carbs, good carbs like sweet potatoes or lots of vegetables and fruits and stuff like that, it doesn't rise your insulin. So there's a huge difference between the glycemic index and your insulin index. And the one that's important is your insulin index, because that's the one that's going to lead to prediabetes and diabetes down the road. We'll get more into that as we go along.